Hero Time starts now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to RV Tabletop. Another production here at RV TV here on the Monastery. My name is The Shades. I am your producer behind the scenes for this extravaganza. And we've got a packed house here tonight full of awesome players ready to play Zeitgeist, our brand new game tonight, running D&D 4th edition. You know, the last good one. As the monk so lovely
because fuck 5th edition.
Yeah, of course. Of course, joining me, of course, is our DM, the one and only gaming monk, Mildra.
How's it going, everybody? It is good to be back in the hot seat.
Indeed, indeed.
Oh, for God's sake. I've already hit a botch. I switched freaking browsers trying to get this damn, because I know Pale Moon was going to fuck up on me. I switched to fucking Brave, and all of a sudden it fucks up on me.
Oh, jeez. By the way, good brother Aaron in the house.
I am so pissed right now. Ugh.
Oh my God, for once it wasn't me interrupting the intro.
Wow. Sorry about that.
That's all right, dude, you have a very good reason to be pissed off. I don't blame you. Speaking of which, of course, my lovely wife, the good lady Kay.
I'm going back.
And of course, the rest of our
fucking.
Okay, Aaron.
I'm going back on fucking Pale Moon.
Keep going, keep it going. I gotta go to bed eventually. Jesus.
Anyway, and of course, good brother Maddie.
My God, I thought we'd be starting at 9.
We all did. We all did, but just Murphy's fucking law.
Oh,
Anyway.
Lord.
And of course, good brother Jay.
I exist.
And finally, good brother Ash.
Hello, I also exist, in case anybody was wondering.
That's a mood.
Okay, guess we're using Pale Moon then. If it fucks up, I'm gonna start going office space on this thing.
And of course, Destor with the perfect comment. Clearly, this is the pinnacle of professionalism here. Ain't that the damn truth?
Wait. You expect us to be professionals? Hit that you here. John,
Actually,
you know the button I'm thinking of.
Actually, in this case, yeah, I might know, but I've got this one.
Live TV is awesome.
That works
Exactly.
Oh shoot, I just got a notification that my good friend Mildred is now streaming.
Whoa, what are the odds of that?
So,
Anyway, Mildred, take it away.
all right. So to put things in perspective, Zeitgeist, the Gears of Revolution is going to be a steampunk themed affair. Now, I did a whole 20-minute video kind of mulling over some of the lore and some of the nations involved. But our particular tale is going to focus more specifically on the city of Flint within Resur. Now, the best way for me to describe Resur is imagine if the British Isles were in a climate that's more akin to the Caribbean islands. Risser is, for the longest time, had been a nation of druids, but in recent years, it has started to make strides towards industrialization, steampunk, as it were. Because you have a mix of steampunk elements as well as Age of Enlightenment style approaches. Philosophy is going to be a major theme as we approach in this story. Our player characters here are members of the Royal Homeland Constabulary, or RHC. If you've seen Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, these guys are Section 9. They do work with authorities, but their main goal is to protect the nation of Resur from from excess foreign influence, as well as protecting it from agents that might threaten the nation, whether that be terrorists, cultists, or the like. Which brings us to the current state. It is the year 500 AOV after our victory. 7 years after the Fourth Urasol War, which was between Resur and Danor over the Urasol archipelago right here. The shipyards in Flint have completed the first Resuri warship powered solely by Danor's newfangled steam engines, not sail like most of their ships are. The monarch of Resur and the one that you all serve, King Audhan, has come to Flint to witness the official launch of this mighty vessel. Wooden hulled, but with a heart of skin and iron, the Royal Navy ship Coal Tongue will act as a deterrent against future aggression from Resur's enemy across the sea, the nation of Danor. The Royal Homeland Constabulary has been called upon to provide security, and you've spent the last several weeks making sure this event goes off without a hitch, canvassing the docks, performing background checks on the guest list, coordinating with the local police to set up a perimeter around the royal docks, and following various directives of your superiors. And now, as a warm breeze blows off the sea, mingling the scents of elaborate floral decorations with the pervasive coal soot that always hovers over Flint, you're at the first of 2 checkpoints, working with Flint police to let in a crowd of local citizens who just want to line the streets and cheer their king. Now, if you don't mind, I will switch to a map of Flint, since that's where we're going to be spending the majority of our time. And this whole thing is mostly taking place in the central district, so right around here, where the Royal Shipyard is. But before that, and Destroyer saying, "So you're going to tell me I can run Frederick Nietzsche riding an automaton and branching a flamethrower in this setting?" You know what?
Yes,
I'm
and if you don't, you're a coward.
I'm not gonna say anything because that would be a spoiler.
I don't actually.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but I'm not gonna say you're right either. Now, before we go in, I think it'd be a good time to introduce the eclectic cast of the Flint division of the RHC, and I'll start from left to right, and when you get called, just give out your name and a few details about your particular character. We'll start, since you're the first I see on my screen. We'll start with you, Ash.
Alrighty, I had the actual written down character description, which is not in front of me at the moment. So I'm going to go off the top of my head as much as I could possibly manage, which is most of it, actually. He looks to be an elf. He's about, 5 foot, about 5'5". Typically has a hood drawn over his head, wearing leather armor. You know him to be of a primal persuasion, and typically works with natural magic, and occasionally is spotted with an animal companion of some sort, but never for long. And his name is, I forgot how to pronounce this actually, because like all elven names, it's impronounceable, but I'm going with Paneth Olivan.
That good enough for government work?
Fussy
Aaron?
butt point 2.
God damn it!
I'll take the blame for this one.
Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of someone who actually does government work, at least until the end of next month, give it a pass. I'll give it a pass.
So next, Aaron.
My name is Ollie Sharp. That is Special Constable Ollie Sharp. Yes, I may look like a bloody tiefling, and I know why'd you name this game? That's none of your business. And that's and my background is also none of your business. So the less you know, the better.
All right then, Lady K.
All right.
Good gods, what a drama queen.
That's my only sharp voice here.
Nonetheless, you may call me Sabriel Niranath. I'm a bard, but don't get caught on my bad side if you please. I've got a rather bad habit.
A bard with mood swings. Yeah.
Don't
Oh, this is good.
Drow have mood swings?
We're bard shaming.
This is going to be fun. Maddie?
You know what? Fuck all y'all, man!
I'm just jealous because I like
Why-
cards.
Twice I pay for shutting the fuck up sometimes. Jesus.
In 5e, that would be grounds for a D4 psychic damage, so clearly we're in the superior game because I've suffered most of the thing.
Yeah, the fainting couch damage.
God damn it! Why didn't we start this in the summer?
Anyway,
I would
Maddie, you're
have had more
up.
time.
Maddie, you're up.
Anyway, my name is Dennis Milner. I'm going with that read. I'm a Dragonborn Warden. I'm 81 years old, 6'8", 290. Don't piss me off. And if you're wondering, didn't you two used to be human? That's pissing me off.
And lastly, Jay.
Hello, my name is Maxwell Blaylock. I am a changeling, not by birth, but by happenstance. Through a horrible accident that Mildred can probably explain better than I can, I kind of got shifted all across reality, and now I'm kind of in broken pieces, and since those pieces are not grounded, I change. But I generally take the form of a human, and someone was dumb enough to give me a shotgun.
Or smart enough, depending on who you ask.
Well, at least you're not running around with some damn rocks.
But yeah.
more or less.
Flint, getting back to the matter at hand. Flint tends to be pretty crowded on the best of days because this is a city that is basically the crown jewel for Reeser's push towards industrialization, because he couldn't do it in the capital of Slate, so he's doing it in Flint. But even by those standards, there's a lot of people pouring in, mostly because they want to see the king. They've gathered on Royal Square on the mainland side of a bridge that leads to the Royal Shipyard. Which I'm going to move you guys over here so you can see it. The police are counting off exactly 700 people who will be let onto the bridge and into Fleet Square on the Shipyard Island so that they can cheer as the carriages of the king and other dignitaries arrive. But you are seeing a bit of discontent with some people protesting the treatment of factory workers, which is causing the police a bit of a headache. With one of them saying, "Oh God, it's them again! Don't tell me that the Dockers are going to start something stupid. We do not need any of that." That is what you hear one of the police officers saying within earshot as you're observing the situation.
You guys want me to ask him something, or should we keep moving along our way?
Well,
Right now, you guys are on security detail, and making sure that protesters don't do anything stupid could be interpreted as part of security.
Well, Ollie's mumbling to himself. Well, after he heard that, it's like they always do something stupid.
Honestly, this is the best time for them to do something stupid, so I suppose it would be best to keep our guard.
Get that shotgun ready.
Let me check my dang pistols. Oh, didn't think I'd be putting a freaking.
Just in case, we don't have to fire him yet.
Yeah, nobody's saying point them at anybody yet. It's just, somebody happens to
Sabriel
walk in front of
rolls
them.
her eyes. Sabriel
Mhm.
just rolls her eyes and starts tuning her violin just in case.
I'd silence that violin if I were you, ma'am. I don't want. The last thing I need is music started. That music started to get everyone into a damn frenzy.
Apparently, you don't know what my thesis was.
So I go back to try to check my firearms, see if they're actually work in order, so I don't freaking lose my many mishaps happen.
Right.
Of course, I have to do
Now-
a side glance at the damn protesters.
Now, obviously, you can't try and deal with all. You can't try and question all 700 people at once.
No, but I can
Want to
definitely keep
bet?
an eye on them.
Let me rephrase that without causing a scene.
Oh, let's see here.
Or spending a week. By which point,
I'm a-
most people have probably gone home.
Well, I'm observing them. I'm going to
Give-
go ahead and
given
roll. I'm going to go ahead and roll perception. What
All
dice
right.
do we use? Hold on a second.
If you're rolling perception, that list is gonna be on page 2 under skills.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's see here. So it's 6 plus whatever. Hold on a second. Yeah, 6 plus What dice should I roll for this one?
You're always, unless I say otherwise, you're going to be rolling a d20.
Okay, roll my perception. D20 plus 6. So 2 plus 6, so it's 8.
Are you rolling a physical die?
Hold on a second. How did I roll?
Is that-
I wasn't rolling physical die. I was doing it in
Did
chat.
that pop up in the chat for you? I'm looking at.
I'm looking at it.
chat, and I can.
I see 2.
Yeah.
There's a 2 on the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, he rolled
Yeah.
a 2, but he didn't add the plus
Does
6.
somebody have the
so-
B word ready?
Yeah, 8 would be the number.
Next, do it again and add the modifier. Otherwise, I can't count it.
Okay, let's see here. How do I add this damn modifier?
If need be, you can use the advanced dice roller at the bottom.
Okay, roll d20 plus. Here we go.
Ah!
What the heck?
Yeah, that's my. Hold on. Oh, how about that? 23.
23. Okay. Judging by what you've been able to find, these are. You do see that there's a few major parties that are raising a stink. Some of them are dockers who don't like how the city is treating them, especially if they're working factories. Primalists who are more staunch believers in the old druidic faith and angry at all this new industry stuff in Flint.
What are they called again?
Primalists.
Primalists?
And lastly, war veterans who you think might do something stupid because of the fact that the designer is a tiefling. The designer of the new coal tongue ship.
Oh, freaking vet. Anything piss me off is people that have a problem with tieflings. Not only that, it's dirty ass primalists.
I mean, dude, how do you think I feel? I'm a changeling, and the dude who's in charge of us just hates all mimics.
Yeah. Well, consider the dockers I ain't worried about. They're just bitchy about their paychecks. The other two, let's just say there's going to be some shite.
I suppose we could always keep an eye out for hypodermic needles being flashed at passerbys, but I tend to agree. I don't think they're going to be any sort of threat.
Let's just keep an eye on the ones we think they're going to be trouble, but let's keep an open eye on everything.
Although
it's always the quiet ones you got to watch.
Although this is where you guys might run into a problem, because obviously you can't just go around questioning random people in the crowd without raising some attention from the police. It's just because of your position as constables doesn't mean that you can go around doing whatever the hell you want.
I mean, but what about me?
You're still a constable.
No, I'm just saying, if I change shape, I mean, could I not try to be the man on the inside?
I think the basis of your character is you're not Mystique.
Okay, that's fair.
How do you do, fellow primalist?
So I'm just looking at him. Yeah. Even though I'm sneering at the latter too, but I'm not gonna fire upon anyone unless I got a good reason to.
Yeah, even talking about firing on people is probably a bad idea.
Last thing.
It's only a bad idea if they hear you. Probably.
This is the point. It's like, ugh, I wish I had my damn rifle.
But
what can we do?
so if you want to set up a threat profile, that's a history or streetwise roll.
I'm not the man for that.
Hold on.
One can do better than a 5 in history and a 3 in streetwise.
I only have a 4.
I got a 10 in streetwise.
You got a what in streetwise?
10.
Do it. That's lovely.
16.
You managed to set up a profile after asking around with the local cops. So you found out that dockers are usually burly with an eclectic sense of fashion. Primalists have particular hairstyles, wear sandals, and adorn themselves with druidic icons. If you see any elves or half-elves with impeccable grooming, it might be a face saboteur, though they might try and hide this. And war veterans will be either mid to late 20s or late 50s, early 60s, usually in much better fighting shape. So those are the kind of people you can look out for. Which means that you should have enough. With that in mind, you should have enough leave to actually start canvassing. And this is one that I'm gonna need as many people as possible to handle. There's 4 ways you can do this. You can either mingle with the crowd, recruit the cops to help you out, recruit some rascals, i.e. the Baker Street irregulars, essentially, or you can just scan the crowd.
I'll take the bait.
I'll have to find some high ground and scan the crowd.
All right. James, Maddie, or Jay?
Okay.
What are you thinking?
What are the remaining options? I'm just making sure I got a clear sense of what's going on.
It's not a case where only one person can do each.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of those scenarios.
Okay.
Just whichever one you think would work best.
All right. Go over them one more time, just so I can be clear.
Mingle with the crowd, recruit the cops, recruit rascals, or scan the crowd.
Would scan the crowd be perception or insight on me?
Perception.
Mm. And I imagine most of the other ones are going to be like charisma.
Skill checks, not raw ability scores.
Well,
It's going to be insight, diplomacy, streetwise, and perception, respectively.
I'm taking that the rascals are going to be streetwise.
Yep.
I'll take them.
all right.
All right.
Which one's the insight?
I'll scan the crowd with Aaron's character.
That's Constable Sharp, sir.
I'll do the insight.
We're both constables.
I think I'll also join in on the streetwise. If we have 2 people watching, the crowds, we'd have one additional person talk to the street rabble.
All right.
All right.
Well, if we could get one to talk to the cops.
That would be good. Which one would be speaking to the police? Would that be diplomacy?
Yes.
Okay. I'm bad at that.
So am I.
I have a
Look at the rest of
3
you.
in
Don't have me
diplomacy.
talk to the cops.
All right. I'm going to do the one for insight because that's probably my best one.
All right. That'd be mingle.
Okay. Cool.
And God damn it, Pitbull.
Uh-oh, what'd Riley say now?
She decided to start singing "Don't Stop Believing."
Hold on to that feeling.
So I think liquor's involved.
Damn straight, liquor's involved.
It's Riley. Liquor is definitely involved.
Alcohol
Okay.
is involved, and I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Anyway. Okay. So Ash, you said that you were going to try and recruit.
I did.
All right. Roll diplomacy.
Which is a d20 plus 6. 1d20 plus 6, I think. That was high.
God damn.
Roll.
Hey,
Yeah, don't worry, it's medicinal. Just check those guys out for me, and you can. I'll hand it off to you later.
Yeah, you happen to be familiar enough with the cops, mostly because you. Let's just say you're the one praying to the old god of hangovers for a few of them. and Canna Cook to whoever gets that reference.
I get it.
So you were able to help. You're ready to help a few cops keep an eye out. See, Aaron, you said you were going to scan the crowd, so that's a perception roll.
Perception roll. Let's see here. Okay, that's 6. Cool.
You scanned, but you don't see a whole lot.
Oh.
Aside from just lots of people.
This is not my.
I'm up there with Aaron there as well. Can I give it a shot?
Pass binoculars. You have a look.
We'll get to you. Lady K, you said that you were gonna try and go with the rascals. That's a streetwise roll.
Ouch.
Still better than Aaron's.
Yeah.
Still
That's a
close
14 monk.
still close enough, but you're probably going to be paying a few shillings after this.
Oh boy.
Actually, I got an idea. All right, boys, listen. Help me out keeping an eye on things. I'll make sure that you and your families are fed for 3 days.
Man, can you make sure I'm fed for 3 days?
Make it 5, and we'll call it a deal, lady.
You got yourself a bargain.
All right, Maddie. I think you said that you were going to try scanning.
With Aaron, so that would be a scanning with perception, I believe, right?
Yep. Roll perception.
All right, so that's perception, which is 2, so it's 2 plus a d20, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Can you see through that damn fog?
I think I'm faring a little better.
It seems that you do note that there seem to be a few dockers who are standing out. You can see 3 of them. And admittedly, when it comes to looking out in crowds, Dennis probably has the biggest advantage at looking down at the crowd.
I'm 6'8" for God's sakes. Tall motherfucker.
And Jay, did you?
Which, by the way, if I'm a tall motherfucker, why am I only getting 2 points? Aaron's got 4.
I said I was gonna mingle for the insight roll.
All right, roll insight.
Coolio.
Damn!
Oh,
Holy crap!
Nicely done!
That's a roll.
So you've managed to narrow it down to about 20 people of interest, but you need to separate the simple parade goers from the actual threats.
Okay.
So there's a few ways that you can do this.
Okay.
You can eat option A, confrontation. Just go up to people of interest and start asking questions. Option B, deception. Feign camaraderie in a how do you do fellow dock workers? Option 3, observation. Just looking and seeing how they react to all the law enforcement. Or the final option, yank them all. Just grab as many people of interest as you can and do so discreetly.
I imagine option 3 is going to make me do insight again, or...
Option A, insight. Option B, bluff. Option C, perception. And option D, stealth.
Okay. I'm going to go with the insight check again, because that's working well for me right now.
All right.
Knock on wood.
Also,
Pretty sure that's made out of metal.
Shades, if you can I'm not sure if you have the play this thing set up, but play Prince of Shadows area.
Okay, you want me to hit the roll button again?
Yeah, I want you to roll insight.
Okay.
Damn.
Well, at least it could have been worse.
You do see a few people talking and passing a few notes.
Anyone got a sleight of hand to take a look at those notes?
But if somebody wants to, you do manage to find one of the dockers in through this who goes by the name of Colton, and he says that there are three others who planned on making a scene. Murcliffe and Escalio, but he's not telling you where they are.
Anyone else think that we should go interrogate?
I'm curious as to what they would do if I simply started tailing them, somewhat obviously.
Oh, if you're saying tailing, maybe I could give it a shot.
That would not be a bad idea. Just having one person following them, somewhat obviously.
All right. Let's see here.
You could always, given your background, Ollie, you could probably make them be asleep somewhere.
No need to harm them. At least not yet.
That'd be a stealth roll.
Yes. So let's see here. Right. Plus 13. Stop using the number pad.
He's using the number pad as shortcuts for his soundboard. I think you should turn that off. We already have a soundboard guy here.
Okay, fair enough. That's failed.
Man,
Okay.
Someone's trying to steal your job.
I was wondering why it blended so perfectly into the cursing.
All right. Okay. Let's see.
All right, you did manage to find Murcliffe and Escalo, and after luring them away for a bit, all it takes is one hit to the back with the butt of one of your handguns, and they're going to be asleep for a few hours.
So what do I roll for pistol whipping?
You don't. This is automatic in this case.
You get a free whipping.
You just follow the guy behind, and then boom! What are you doing? The Vulcan nerves pinch? No, idiot! You're supposed to go lower where the shoulder meets the neck. You mean like this? Yeah.
Yeah,
Thud.
So I whacked him. I was like, night, scabs.
I like my version better, but yes.
Okay.
So I contact. Let's see here.
Which only leaves Colton, who's currently still being watched by the police.
Well, I got an idea.
Okay.
What do you got?
How exactly am I?
Say again?
How exactly am I dressed? Am I in uniform, or am I trying to mingle in with?
you are in you given your background, you are in uniform. Mostly because
Okay.
if you decide to show up not in uniform, Thames would have your head.
Fair enough.
And
Well, that means I don't do any good either.
Well, I was going to, if I was dressed as a commoner for the most part, I was going to just follow behind playing a song and put him to sleep.
well,
Yeah.
you've already got Colton taken care of, and with his other two associates. Although one of them let slip that there was a fourth man named Dafton, because the Dockers that you found are not exactly the brightest bunch.
So I'm looking.
That seems especially terrible, given that they're in charge of surgical instruments.
So essentially, they're pissed off enough they don't want to do something. They're drunk enough to go ahead with it, but they're dumb enough that you could easily trip them up.
Patsies.
I'm okay. That's a combination I'm more comfortable with.
I mean, am I wrong? Is that a fair assessment here?
That is a fair assessment.
Patsies.
But as far as the last one, it's going to be a skill roll to try and find it. Although there's two options that you have. You can do one of the previous options, or I can have a couple of you do good cop, bad cop with the guy you currently have detained.
Oh, good cop, bad cop.
Where do we have this man
no.
detained?
I volunteer for that.
I volunteer for the bad cop because I can scratch the strings.
I'm a hospitalier, so that means I should be, or I could be good cop.
I'm definitely bad cop. I got intimidation.
What would I use as good cop?
Well, I got 8 in intimidate as well in case someone needs a big tough dumb guy to go.
I got a 3 in intimidation.
I need you to decide amongst each. If you're going to do this, I can't have all of you doing good cop, bad cop. We need only 2 people. So whoever's doing one of you I need you to decide one of you who's doing good cop and one of you who's doing bad cop.
Okay. So everyone else seems to be set on being bad cop. So
Who's got a bigger intimidation number?
I'll do good cop. So yeah, I'll roll with that.
Not just intimidation, but streetwise.
Okay.
Yeah, streetwise is only a 1. My intimidate is an 8.
I'm at a 6 for intimidate. Streetwise is 10.
Mine's at intimidate 8, streetwise 3.
Shauna, it seems like you got it.
All right.
You're elective. I looked there.
It's a case of intimidate might be lower, but street minds might be a good plan B there. So
I look here and says, if you got any trouble with this guy, let me know.
I will. Don't worry.
Now, when I say that he was detained, I didn't mean that he was held in a separate room. It's more of he's being held off to the side, away from the crowd, and being watched by one of the cops.
I suggest we take this inside for a quick chat.
That sounds good to me.
This door behind us is certainly open. You need a few minutes alone?
If you don't mind.
All right.
Just haul them into one of the open warehouses or something of that sort. Given that we're on the docks, I'm sure that some people are.
Yeah, so I'll just stand. As soon as the 2 go inside, I'll just stand outside the door.
Question: are there windows?
That's a good question.
Very high up.
Damn. Because if they were ground level, I was going to have either the other 2 on the side with one big tall motherfucker just glaring into the window and the other leveling his pistol on from the other side.
Nope. Sorry. The windows aren't high. The windows are too high for that. And I don't think Sabriel graduated from the academy with a very good record in shot put.
No. If you're gonna say it correctly, competitive bitch tossing.
I like that one better.
Yes.
Man, I wish I
That'll
could
work.
take that sport.
I know, right?
I guess this means bad cop first, which means you're going first. So bad cop, do the bad cop.
Did you know that there are at least 120 different frequencies that I can play off the violin strings that could make your ears bleed?
No. Roll intimidation.
Ten.
Close, and I'm guessing you're going into great and exquisite detail on the effects that certain frequencies can have on the ears.
Like, while tuning the pegs on her violin.
This goes on for a few minutes until you hear a out on the door.
Oh, I'm outside the door. It's like, who's knocking on the? It's like, hey,
Who
what
is
do you
it?
want?
No, it's a case of time to switch.
Okay.
Tag team match. Come on, tag in, tag out.
All right.
Pure,
Yeah.
I never said I didn't like D&D. I just said I had issues with how Fifth Edition handled things.
So I look at okay, so let's see here. So I look at Constable Miller. Why don't you give it a shot?
I think we need a good cop in this situation, which means
Yeah.
it
It
should be
me.
Oh. Ash.
yeah, it should be Maxwell doing this.
All right.
All right.
Officer, Constable. You're
Constable.
up.
All right. So, I see you've become very well acquainted with my colleague over there. Look, I can't say that there's all that much I can do to help if you don't give me anything to work with. She is kind of crazy. I have seen rabbits explode thanks to that thing. I don't want that thing to hurt you. I'd much rather we both not have to deal with another explosion. So can you please just help us out just this once? Tell us what you can.
Just up.
Roll diplomacy.
Okay. Oof. Could have been anything else, but just said diplomacy. I'm gonna need a miracle. Ugh.
Okay. Dafton. His name's Dafton.
Outside, he's looking at them. Outside, he's looking at Constable Nearneth. That rabbit thing again.
Hey, whatever
I don't want
works.
to rabbit explode, honestly.
Cruelty
to animals.
Accident!
I would pass judgment, but I'm pretty sure those watching who are more canny would probably point out a certain habit I had when I was playing through Shadow Warrior. For those who didn't see that, anytime I saw a rabbit, I tried to shoot it or slice it.
I actually was not aware of that. I just said
I
rabbits
saw.
explode 'cause it was
I
the first
saw.
thing that
I
came
was
to
there for that. You evil bastard.
Those rabbits
you-
were accidents. And besides, they made a very delicious stew.
Though at least you weren't wasteful.
mind. Okay.
I'm not sure
You
what.
don't get to
Wait a
say-
second. What would you have done with this fellow if you actually did blow him? Oh, he's still listed. All right. Maybe I won't ask that.
Okay, the rabbits may have been accidents, but I know the squirrels weren't. You were chasing them.
Those little bastards were stealing my nuts.
Phrasing!
Totally intentional.
Okay, so that 10 probably got me nowhere.
No, he spilled the name of the fourth man, Dafton.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
So you know who you're looking for. Now you just got to find him.
Okay. Who's the best at looking for people?
Well, who's got the best nose?
I have a pretty
I
decent
can have
perception.
any nose.
Specifically, I believe I have a +9
In what?
perception.
Oh yeah, yeah. If we're dealing with perception, count me out. I got a 4.
Yep, you got a 9.
Just got a 9 for nature. Is that something you'd like me to roll now, or?
Yes.
Oh. Come on, roll 20. No, roll 20. That was a single D20.
Don't forget your
And the-
modifier.
I had the +9 and it managed to be lower than the single D20, but that's fine.
No, the good news is that you managed to find him.
The bad
Oh.
news.
The bad news is you found him on one of the bridges, and he looks to be trying to hassle another dock worker into trying to work with him.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
Dragonborn.
That happened.
Bridge.
It's time for you to step.
All right, time for the heavy to be the heavy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, we have a suspect engaged in an open conspiracy. We have we're gonna sworn affidavit if we need one from the guy we already captured. I think he'll let loose a little bit.
Tell him to bust a head or two.
It's
Well,
No,
I
not
walk
even-
up to the gentleman. No,
All you gotta do is just put your hand on his or your claws on his shoulder. I need
Yeah.
you to come
hand.
with.
It's a
That'd be
hand.
scary
It's
enough.
called a hand.
well, I'm
He
going.
can fall down some stairs later.
Well, what I'm gonna do is well, Constable Milner does this. I'm gonna try to sneak behind to make sure he doesn't make a run for it. So I'll
Good
use
call.
stealth.
Good call. So I walk up to the potential perpetrator in potential planning phases there. Alliteration. And I go, excuse me, sir. Hand firmly on shoulder. You need to come with me.
Now.
And he's got that look on his face going, try me. You won't lie. You won't last.
He's going. I'm not going anywhere until this traitor actually goes with us, trying to form a union. What is he thinking? They're not going to listen unless we start fighting.
Ooh, that is
Did-
admission to conspiracy.
Yeah. That's sir. You obviously don't recognize me, and that's fair enough. But now you just admitted that you wanted to stir shit up. My job is to meet, and the grip gets tighter and tighter. It's like, I didn't ask. I did not ask.
If I may editorialize for one moment, not only does the grip get tighter, but the air also gets colder. In other words, for those of bridge fans of you, did the room just get colder? Did the room just get colder all of a sudden?
Fuck yeah, it did. Why
does that happen? Well, since that kind of got skimmed over, Milner here is a white-scaled dragonborn.
Oh.
Remember the part I told you
ice
not
powers.
Ice elemental.
Yep.
Remember I told you not to piss me off? That's why.
That's nice. That pairs very well with my fire and lightning.
So basically, Dennis starts staring and said, "It's only got to get colder." I suggest we skedaddle.
Roll
Get somewhere
intimidation
else.
and give yourself a +2 modifier. And
Also,
Riley, ice power is equal white dragon. That's the rules. Look, if you got a problem with that, take it up with Gygax and Arneson, not me.
We are not bringing racism into this stream. Knock it off.
So 8. So my intimidate's already 8. So you want me to add 2? That makes it 10.
Yes.
Go
If
for
you
it.
fail this, I'm going to
Nice.
Nice.
Still an 18's good.
18 should be good enough.
I mean, I was just saying if he did, because the number didn't pop up on my screen until after it was on y'all's.
It seems like he was about to make a run for it, and then you ended up doing a bit of dragon breath, and put a little frost on his legs.
Well, I see I won't be needed in this situation.
Just stick around just in case.
Meaning that
my breath's good, but my age sometimes. Go ahead.
And first off, Riley, for invoking that damn song, put your motherfucking head back down.
Put your motherfucking head back down, dummy!
If you're asking if I'm penalizing you for referencing either Vanilla Ice or Frozen, the answer is yes.
Oh,
Thank
God.
you. Both of these two are heresy.
Okay, Mildred, but which one's worse?
Again, the answer is
The
yes.
answer is
Yeah. One is overplayed. The other, they're equally overplayed anyway.
¿Por qué los dos?
Okay, fair.
Yeah. I mean, there could be a debate, but for the sake of brevity, the answer is yes.
So, a lot of people start getting out of the way when you see that you are literally picking up by the convenient boss me around handle on his shoulder, and just bringing him back to the group, saying, "Is this the guy?"
So I just go.
Sabriel
This
looks
the-
over
this-
to
this the perp?
Well, what's his
Sabriel.
name?
Actually, did we ask this gentleman his name?
Yeah.
Just make sure. Hey.
But the guy he was yelling at said his name was Dafton.
Okay, Dafton, is it, sir? You there in the Dragonborn's claws?
He nods.
Just checking. All right, shall we toss him into the warehouse for the moment?
Please do.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm quite itching to play a song.
Wait. So wait. You hear from the back, and you end up seeing that. You end up seeing this man come to approach you.
Neat.
James Grimsley, huh?
Tams Grimsley.
I apologize for interrupting, but he and I were in a bit of a dispute. Please, he means well, but he's an idiot.
Well, he's a smart idiot. He decided not to get his ass kicked.
He did take an awful long time doing it. Deciding in that obviously better direction, though. So it's still
stubborn, but not too stupid. Let's give the frozen bastard some credit there.
There might end up being more, but I will do what I can to try and calm some of the dock workers, since they respect me, even if some of them disagree with methods. But
tell you what, sir, if we were to toss who was the first gentleman that we ended up nabbing? The one we got Dafton's name from.
That was Colton.
Colton. What if we Colton doesn't seem to be much of a leader or fighter or anything of that sort. What if we toss him back to you? Then we'll be able to pick him up for questioning later. What if we toss him back to you for the moment? Just as a show of good faith that we're not here to ruin anyone's day.
Can you give me your word that you will try and help in an appropriate manner about forming a dockers union, or at the very least push the people who could help?
We'll put in a good word for you.
He and I both disagree with how dock workers are being treated in the factories. He thinks that the only way to get it done is to get any progress is through a violent uprising. I was aiming to form a union. He and I disagreed, and if your associate, he says looking up at Dennis, didn't stop him, it might have gotten a lot more violent.
If that's the case, the cost of that good word is going to be up. Everybody who ends up joining whatever your union is probably going to need to disavow any violent outreaches.
Yeah, we can't exactly condone or put in a good word for a movement that may or may not come back to bite us.
Mr. Grimsley,
much as it might drive his business.
Mr. Grimsley, here's my proposal. We'll put in a good word to the labor board. Exchange this rabble rouser. We'll just disavow him and leave us to him.
Gabrielle looks at Tamesley for a second. What sort of conditions have there been in the factories?
Mostly. Oh, you hear stories here and there. Mostly with overworking, or some people having a disdainful attitude for the people in the noble districts, especially those near the lake.
But what are the conditions themselves? Are you being mistreated? Are you being denied breaks? Are they withholding food?
It's mostly been mistreatment. The closest that I've heard is mistreatment from some of the factories that are owned by nobles.
So hands getting caught in moving parts.
I need something more clear than this. What sort of mistreatment?
Because here's the thing, pal. We can do things like we can write up a report on our security recommendations and political actions that would be most beneficial so as to keep violence down. That's the angle that we have to approach this from.
Exactly.
If we don't have anything specific to reference, we don't have a report that we can really send to the higher ups to make such recommendations on.
Yes.
I will try and get as much info as I can. Obviously, I can't give too much because I understand that you all are going to be on a bit of a time crunch at this moment. But I will write a letter to the RHC office in about a week's time. As for these three, I am perfectly willing to state that I had no affiliation with them, and that they were trying to start a riot that I didn't know about.
I don't know about you guys, but that sounds pretty good to me.
That works for me
Sounds
too.
fair. Any other ins and outs of this situation can be settled with the labor board?
Question.
Go ahead.
Can we spare one? For one, is anybody currently working in the factories at this moment, or is this a full political holiday for them?
It's the king's coming to town. It's a fucking holiday.
Okay.
Ooh.
When he departs, on the other hand, we might be able to
See, now I'm
observe
afraid
that.
that if we do let them go, then they might cause trouble while the king's in town.
Oh no, we're not letting them go.
Oh, okay.
No, we're not letting them go. I'm thinking of pulling surprise inspections on the condition.
That unfortunately, that's outside your authority.
Okay.
Who has authority to do that?
All right, but we do have a changeling in our midst that can gather intel.
That sounds great. I wish I knew who he was.
You can never put a face on him.
God damn it!
I'm sorry.
Yeah, like
No, that was a damn good pun. Only problem was that it borders on a dad, which I have been subjected to between my husband and my daughter.
Anyway,
Shut up, you!
Never learning.
we could see if our boss would make a special recommendation to the labor board to put an inspection out, but considering that this is a holiday, the bureaucracy would take forever.
Well, they wouldn't even be functional
today.
I don't expect it. He's about to depart. That says I don't expect the decision immediate. I don't expect any progress on this immediately. Just some kind of assurance that you will help out on that in the future.
Oh yeah, assurance I can give.
Will you be able to sign an affidavit?
If it comes to it, yes.
That works for me.
Also,
Sabriel is going to step off to the side with Grimsley for a second, and with Max.
Okay.
In fact, she hauls Maxwell by his collar.
Man, you have to show everyone that I'm wearing a collar.
Don't make me pull out my whip.
Uh-oh.
Oh my.
Bear in mind, boys, filters off. I've been drinking.
She's not the only one. I got a Four Loko over here.
Oh, God
Both of us
damn
do.
it.
Oh, wait, you're drinking one too? Oh, shit.
Well, shit.
Okay.
Bruce.
Now, funny thing is I hold my liquor better than he does.
I believe it.
Okay, let me make this clear. It doesn't take much to get me drunk, but even at the most drunk I've ever been, I'm still able to maintain all my facilities. I know exactly where I am and what I'm doing. So, fuck you.
I don't drink, so I have no idea how I do.
Me neither.
Okay, so we're pulled aside.
Mm-hmm.
All right, listen. Max, I need a favor from you.
Okay.
When all this is blown over with the king's vessel and all that jazz, I need you to shift forms and go into Thames's factory.
Okay. As a what?
Ask Thames what the best race would be. But you're to gather information on the conditions and to report and to write up a report to give to the Department of Labor.
Okay.
And I stare
I think I
back
can
at
do
the
that.
dock workers and I go, hey, if you see anyone trying to stir shit up, let us know. We'll help us out. We'll help
Not
you
only
out.
that, she looks at Grimsley. If he approaches you and you don't recognize him, but he introduces himself as Max, just know that's us.
I don't understand what you mean, but I'll take your word for it.
I'm Max.
He's going to approach you in a disguise, if you will.
I'm a man of many faces.
I'll take your word for it.
But we'll see to it that something is done, provided we can give a first-hand account on the conditions of the factory. Are we clear on this?
Yes.
What's the most common race in the factories? That's kind of an important detail to know.
It's about the same percentage as the rest of Reeser.
Okay, so I can just be a people.
Which Reeser's demographic is 86% human, 6% elf, 5% halfling, and 3% other.
Okay.
What's the race that's treated the worst in the factory?
That's a good question.
By far, what is the race that gets the worst treatment?
Tieflings.
Shit.
His horns combine poorly with all those moving parts.
Nope, because this means we might need to drag Ollie in on this.
I hate
Sabriel marches over. Ollie, come here, please. All right, so what we're planning is to have Max here infiltrate one of the factories, but we may need you as a backup.
All right then. Problem here is here's the problem though. It could be trouble because if I come into the factory with any weapons, it would stir up. It would turn it.
You would have to be a factory worker, and all we would need is your report to deliver to the Council of Labor. Because according to Grimsley here, the race that gets the worst treatment is Taperings.
I didn't sign up to be a. Okay, I'll help.
Tell you what, I'll make a bargain with you. I owe you any favor after this, and you know I'm good for it.
I'm gonna need to put a gun at a dead drop then, because if things get nasty, I'm gonna need something. I'm gonna need something to defend myself.
Fair enough. I'll make sure there's a bucket, if you will, with your pistol. Stationed near the door, and I will find a way to pass the message on to you. If anything, through Maxwell.
All right. Whenever you're ready, I'll give. Whenever you're ready, I'll give him my gun. I won't give him one, not both.
Fair enough, but just make sure the well's damn well hidden.
Okay. Question for me though. Do I carry any weapons in as a inspector?
Well, no, you're going undercover too. Both of you are.
Yeah.
You're not going in as constables.
Yeah, I figured as much.
And of course, it probably won't be today until after the festivities are finished, because the if I'm reading this right, the nobles are going to want their product moved ASAP now that the festivities are over, which is probably going to result in even harsher treatment.
Yeah, so we have to act fast on this.
Exactly. So tell you what, let me get in touch with the rascals. I'll get you both some clothing. I'll try to make sure that you're... I'm listening.
There's one bit of a thing that you guys have been ignoring since you got caught up in this.
Uh-oh.
And that is the fact that you guys are still assigned on security detail during the duration of the king's visit.
All right, listen, we can't take care of this at this moment, but as soon as things resume, we will be there. Is that fair enough, Grimsley?
Grimsley?
I can, yeah, that can certainly work.
All
right. Well, as it stands, we need to go have a slight chat with what's his face, if you will. What was his name again?
Fred.
No.
Cool.
Those are the D.
Colton and Dafton.
I'm gonna go have a little chat with your Dafton friend.
That, as you, unfortunately, by the time you return, you come to a realization. First off, Dafton, if I haven't made this clear, is an idiot.
Sounds like that.
Oh God.
And he ended up blabbing something similar to what he blabbed to Thames. And by the time you get back, you see that that the cop there is reading him his rights, and he is being hauled off in cuffs.
We need to question him first, if you please.
We'll send him to. There's a few jails in the RHC office. We'll send him there.
Right here, right now, under your supervision.
That I'm just a day-to-day person. That is something you're going to have to take up with your inspectress later on.
Anyone got a high bluff score that says it's time sensitive and has to be done immediately?
Yes.
Do it.
All right, if I ever needed a good roll, it's right now.
Ooh.
18.
That'll work.
28. Listen to me. This is time sensitive, and this is of national importance. We question him right here, right now.
All right. You best make sure. Just keep.
He's
your
not
name
going
up.
anywhere. The cuffs stay on.
You got 5 minutes.
And if worse comes to worse, I have a
Deal.
shotgun.
All right. I need some muscle here. I need both pistoliers, if possible, and I need our dragonborn friend. because they're pretty much going to because they're going to be my intimidation squad, and I'm going to be doing the question.
Okie dokie.
I'm just going to stand autistically in the corner, I guess.
So I just stand your arms folded with my hand close to my gun.
Pretty much.
I'm just sitting there staring at him.
Blow pillows of ice out, or plumes of ice out your nose, and we're good.
Like steam, ice. Yeah, that.
Now,
So I just sit there, folded arms, close to my gun, and just staring daggers at him.
That's what you're doing. Cock it.
Sabriel takes up place right in front of Dafton. Now you listen, and you listen good. Those three, they don't give a damn whether you live or die. Me, on the other hand, we'll see if I can put in a good word. Is there anyone else involved with your movement?
Roll intimidate. Give yourself a +2.
And if that roll fails, I'll roll.
Alright, somebody do something intimidating, hurry!
I'll roll.
Do it.
That's an 8 for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we got our bases covered here.
It looks like he's about to move, and then all of a sudden he hears a gun click.
Don't move.
He sits back down.
Actually, can I roll streetwise?
For what reason?
Alright. I'm going to attempt to garner sympathy.
That'd be diplomacy.
Fuck. Okay, I'm going to attempt to state that I know more about what's going on the streets than what he.
Oh, wait.
Than he.
No,
Oh,
go
Jay,
on. I had an idea, but I'm still thinking it through.
All right.
I still got my gun pointed at him.
All right, give it to me, Jay. What you got?
Okay. Is he? Okay, this is going to be a long shot. But by any chance, is he eyeing anyone? Did I notice him eyeing anyone that we hadn't spoken to before?
No, he's been eyeing you guys the whole time.
Darn. Okay.
All right, then Sabriel.
We can provoke him into it. Here, stand him up.
All right. Yes.
This gentleman's an idiot. We can sort of like face him to the crowd, and say, "Hey, so, do you recognize any of your friends here?" And he's an idiot. So what I'm hoping is that he's going to linger on a few faces. So it might not work.
Roll diplomacy.
I shall roll diplomacy. Of the diplomatic of a bonus of +1. What the hell, man?
Nice!
You got lucky.
This doesn't make sense. Why can't my dice roll like this? Desperately trying to tear me away from fantasy grounds with digital bribes.
He looks and he says, "It's just a bunch of blokes waiting to see the king."
You know what?
He doesn't see anybody he recognizes.
All right. Back to my streetwise thing. Listen, I know you guys are suffering. We're going to try to make things right. but I need you to help me. Is there anyone else we need to look for?
No, no, ma'am. It was just the four of us.
Just the four of you.
Including myself.
So there's 5 of you.
No,
Who's the fifth?
no, ma'am. No, ma'am. There are only. It was only myself, Colton, Mercliffe, and Escalio.
All right. Have you heard anything on the street about anyone else possibly trying to cause a ruckus today?
Well, there's people who are disgruntled, but nobody had the guts to try and do it.
That you know of. Is there anyone else that could possibly have the guts?
No.
At this point, I think the gentleman, if he is involved in something else, he will be stalling at this point. I just say that like staring right at him.
No, sir. I've look.
Pal, do I look like I'm in the kind of position to believe you right now?
Clearly we didn't think this through. I don't feel like getting frozen. Again. Just put me in a jail cell and be done with it.
Well, that's what the constabulary is for, the local officers. We, on the other hand, are going to canvass each and every one of your friends. It's a shame if somebody just got caught up in it. Didn't have anything to do with what was going on, but got rounded up all the same.
What's the word those fancy folks use? Disavow? Yeah, that. If anybody else starts something up, I have nothing to do with it.
So what you're implying is that there might be someone who's going to stir something up.
But he doesn't know it.
Or,
I don't know if there is or isn't. At this point, I just want to be away from him.
Dennis, could you step out, please?
All right, for God's sakes.
I'm going to go with him.
Trying to freeze him.
I still got my gun pointed at him.
I think he meant him.
No, he meant you, Dennis.
God damn it.
All right.
Fine.
All right, so Dennis steps out the room. All right. There's no chance of you being frozen at this distance, especially not through a closed door. Now, I'll make good on the word to you. I'll make sure your family's fed. Is there anyone else that could be stirring up trouble today?
No. He says matter of factly.
All right, she looks to the boys. I believe him.
I pull my gun away.
I don't know if he'd be smart enough to lie to us through all that.
Well, we tried threatening, we tried offering, and he's given us the same answer either way.
Well, not quite sure what game we can play from here.
Don't know if
Well, if you still don't trust him, you can roll perception.
That's true. I don't have a good perception check, and I'm going to be right back.
I'll give it a shot.
Wait, Aaron, what's your perception?
6.
Okay. Yeah, you have a better shot than I do.
Okay. 23.
He's not lying.
Okay. Well,
So I just nod my head.
it's good for me if it's good for you.
Gentlemen, officers, let's show him to his cell.
Well, sir, you are after, now that the interruption is done, you're still under arrest for civil disobedience and first degree conspiracy. Do you understand? He basically goes over his equivalent, and you see him and his associate get hauled off. All that his associate is getting hit with is just accessory too.
No, I'm not worried about the rabble.
Prisoner's dilemma strikes again.
Wish there was more we could have done.
There is still more we can do.
We're still on the tail.
Yes.
Exactly.
Let's get back to work.
Yeah, personally,
All right, I'm going to go check in with the rascal.
All right, so I'm going back up to the post, trying to scan for any more trouble.
Yeah, I'm going to use my insight and dance through the crowds and mingle.
So anyway, okay, take a look. I'm gonna go ahead and roll perception. See what I can find.
Nicely done.
It looks like that was the worst of the issue. The other ones are some of them are certainly shouting, but nothing too out of the ordinary. And right on cue, up near Fleet Square, you see the first of the nobles starting to arrive in small ships. And off in the distance, you can see the coal tongue that is currently docked. Meaning that eventually your security detail is gonna be on the coal tongue itself. Now that you had a chance to mingle with the rabble, you'll soon get a chance to mingle with the locals.
Nice.
But that is where we are going to wrap it up for now.
So soon?
We started late, and this is a nat, and if we continued on, it would be a while before there would be a natural break. So I'm going to cut it here, and we'll be back at this next week.
All right.
Damn.
This is-
I was actually kind of hoping to test out one of those drama.
Blame me. Blame
Probably
Windows.
get a
Fuck
chance to do that.
Microsoft.
Yeah, I'm not going to reset the hands this week, but only because there wasn't an opportunity to use them yet.
My idea, by the way, when I was asking if he had been eyeing anyone in the crowd, my thought was if he had been hiding something and like there was someone that he was looking over towards that might have caused trouble, I might have, since he was stupid, I might have just changed into the person he was looking at and tried to turn him in.
That's
That would have been interesting.
Would have been interesting,
Definitely.
but
Unfortunately, he had nothing to say.
But with all that said, Shades, you think it's a good as time as any to do the wrap up?
You know, really, this is your stream. This is on your channel. I don't think me doing the wrap up's fair.
All right then. So as far as what's coming down the pipe at the open bar of the internet, I will get that on a T-shirt one of these days, so that I too have an excuse to say, buy the shirt. But tomorrow, it's kind of a mixed bag about whether or not I'm going to be doing any game streaming. I will let you, if you want any updates on that matter, I will be posting them in the Monastery Discord. Which join the Monastery if you can. It's always a blast, and whenever I do video game streams, I keep the chat relatively open because, again, this is the open bar. Saturday there will be a new review. It's going to be on Dungeon Slayers. I think I mentioned this yesterday, but it bears repeating. And of course, Sunday, the next iteration of Monastery Live. And last but certainly not least, we'll be on the HMS Cold Tongue next week for the next chapter of Zeitgeist: The Gears of Revolution. But until next we meet, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, and on behalf of all the lovely folks who keep the beer flowing in this holy of temples, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.